Good afternoon, everyone, or almost afternoon for our friends out on the West Coast, and welcome to today's webinar discussion, Transition to the Cloud, Spend Less and Do More with Hosted Exchange, brought to you by savvisdirect. My name is Nancy Hammervick, and I am in charge of industry relations at CompTIA, the Global IT Trade Association. CompTIA is a fully self-funded, not-for-profit organization whose mission is driving the IT industry forward. I'm joined today by several industry experts who will be sharing lots of great information. Michael Kops has been a Microsoft Cloud TSP for the past 3 years, assisting partners and customers with pre-sales technical discussions, presentations, and demos. Previously, Michael spent 10 years as an IT director for various Microsoft partner organizations. Ryan Stang has been involved in customer service for more than 12 years, holding certifications in CompTIA A+, Network Plus, and Security Plus. Ryan previously operated as a technical support specialist for Wells Fargo Advisors and currently holds the position of Service Center Analyst Tier 1.5 and SaaS Subject Matter Expert at savvisdirect. Peter Bernstein is the senior editor at TMCnet. He's a seasoned writer and professional with deep experience in the communications and IT industries. As a top-level industry analyst, Peter has keynoted major technology events, been cited by numerous leading publications, and authored many research studies, articles, and white papers. Graham Burgraff, a technical expert when it comes to migration, is also on hand. If you have any technical questions about email migration, Graham can help answer those during our Q&A session. Together, we will have an interactive and lively conversation looking at some industry statistics, leading into a panel discussion that will include a survey question we will ask of all of you. There will be an opportunity for you to ask questions as well. During the course of the webinar, please feel free to type in your questions. We'll have plenty of time after the discussion for these questions, and we'll do our best to get to all of them. If we do not, we'll make sure to call and follow up with you. During the course of the webinar, we'll first look at why mid-market enterprises are adopting the cloud. We'll also discuss overcoming concerns about the cloud, and then we'll lay out a plan for transitioning to the cloud, followed by our Q&A session. Okay, let's get started. CompTIA research indicates that we've reached a maturity stage for cloud, where we've graduated from it being a buzzword to a viable business solution that's become an integral part of overall IT operations. Gartner has increased its estimate for worldwide cloud revenue to $50 billion by 2015, and vendors, channel firms, and end users alike indicate increased investment expected. In 2012, 83% of companies polled by CompTIA reported some sort of cloud solution, using some sort of cloud solution, and for a quarter of those firms, cloud components made up 30 to 50% of their architecture. So what's driving the move to the cloud? First, economic conditions. According to AMI Pulse, 70% of organizations polled cited restricted credit and cash flow, making cloud a great option to reduce investments in on-premise hardware. Organizational pressures. Cheskin & Associates reports 70% of IT budgets are spent maintaining data center operations, and cloud can reduce those costs. The mobile workforce. Cisco reports 70% of mid-market enterprises have employees who work more than 3 days a week outside the office. Cloud allows staff to access organizational platforms and systems when they need it, where they need it. And finally, organizations are also indicating a rising preference to outsource for technical and security expertise, from 40% in 2009 to 70% in 2012, according to AMI Pulse. The benefits of cloud adoption are underscored by a cloud workforce study conducted by Cheskin across 750 mid-sized enterprises. Of those polled, better support for mobile workers was a top driver, as well as flexibility, reliability, faster rollout of new solutions, enhanced support, cost efficiency, and confidence in the backup of data. Still, there's always some FUD factor, fear, uncertainty, and doubt in adopting new technologies. I'd like to turn to our panelists now to discuss some of the concerns they're hearing out in the industry on adopting cloud-based solutions. Ryan, what are you hearing out there?
One of the things I've heard is that businesses are concerned that they're going to lose their data during the migration process.
Okay, excellent. Michael?
Yeah, one thing that I'm hearing is, IT departments are concerned about losing flexibility and control, which causes them to change their internal processes.
Okay, great. And Peter, what are you hearing?
Well, ever since the cloud has become a hot industry topic, there's been concern about security, and I believe, and we're starting to see it in the market, that that's a myth and not reality.
Agreed. Thank you, Peter. And Ryan, have we missed anything?
Well, one of the things that I've seen is that businesses are worried that the provider is going to disappear.
Yeah, very good point. So now we'd like to hear from all of you out there in the audience. What is your primary concern in moving to the cloud? If we could bring up our poll question, take a look at these options and please check off one box, your primary concern, and we'll gather some real-time results and feedback. Is it data security, accessible support, ease of migration and onboarding, network and data center reliability, or none of the above? We'll give you all a moment to check off one of those. It'll be interesting to see what the consensus is out there amongst our users. Okay, I'll give everybody just another minute to make sure they're checking off a box. And then when we are ready and all the results are in, we'll take a look at the results. So very interesting, data security, overwhelmingly just about half the audience. Accessible support at 7.5%. Ease of migration and onboarding about 28%, a significant concern there. Network and data center reliability at 13%, and none of the above 5%. So either you're completely confident or there's an issue we're not aware of, but I think we've hit the four primary concerns here, and we will address them as we move on in the conversation. So there's also some concern that the cloud will have a negative impact on the IT professional. Some in-house or contracted IT resources are hesitant to recommend or adopt the cloud because they think it'll put them out of a job. And that's actually not true. If anything, it can elevate them to a more strategic role for the organization and give opportunities across the organization with lines of business. There's lots of data and surveys on this that show that it will not have a negative impact on jobs, but if you feel that that data might be skewed, one of the best ways to look at it is a simple search of the word cloud on the job posting site Indeed.com shows significant growth in cloud-related job postings over the past 3 years. Dice.com, a job posting site that focuses on technical positions, had more than 15,000 cloud computing jobs listed in April, a 50% increase over last year and a 275% increase over the last 2 years. So clearly there's job opportunity. Many IT professionals are seeing strong opportunity in the cloud, and I'd like to turn to our panelists to discuss some reasons why IT professionals prefer a cloud-based environment. Michael, could you talk about these first three here?
Yeah, absolutely. And we hear this one a lot, the first bullet, reduces capital and operating expenses. This is the classic OpEx versus CapEx. A lot of the times, organizations, it's mid-sized organizations, have an aging, for example, Exchange server, and you're looking at a quote to actually build out an on-premises Exchange server that's highly available and architected correctly, and that could be a big capital expense. What the cloud offers us is it converts that capital expense to that monthly predictable operational expense that allows us to get that high availability, that redundancy immediately in the form of a cloud service. So it really resonates well with IT departments who don't have to worry about the build-out, and with the financial folks who like paying that monthly bill, that predictable monthly bill, instead of that one large lump sum capital expense. And then, another reason, able to let someone else with the adequate technical expertise deal with any system issues. I remember back when I was an IT director and IT manager. It was a fine line between what I could handle myself with my internal staff and what I had to outsource. Well, as our business matured, we learned that it was much more effective for us to be outsourcing a lot of our IT to those who are experts, so we're not spending that time reinventing the wheel. And of course, moving to the cloud allows you to not even worry about, keeping the back-end systems up and running, patching servers, worrying about, complex software platform updates. That's just all handled by the cloud provider. And really what it does, moving along to our third bullet, it frees up the time that would otherwise be spent on maintaining the environment. So now our IT staff can be more of a strategic asset to our organization. IT is not keeping systems up and running. Now IT is focusing on the business, on strategic projects that can really, help drive revenue.
Fantastic. Thank you, Michael. And Ryan, can you cover the last three?
Definitely. Okay, so obviously you'll get the added reliability of a trusted network and infrastructure backup. So as Michael was saying, instead of waking up in the middle of the night to troubleshoot that server that went down, you've got a team that's there ready to take care of it for you already. You have the latest technologies and protection right there at your fingertips, always available, always ready for you. You have a team of technology experts that, as again, are always there, always available.
Okay, thank you, Michael and Ryan. So we've talked about the opportunity in cloud, covered some of the concerns. I'd like to ask Peter if we could just do a little recap here and underscore some of the key takeaways thus far in our discussion. Peter?
Yeah, a lot of these bullet points should be ones that are familiar to everybody on the call because the vendor community has done a terrific job in trying to educate the market on the real benefits here. The first one is a big one, which is the increased flexibility and control. Flexibility meaning you basically can burst when you need to and unburst when you don't. That you're gonna pay for what you get when you get it, and not have to worry about nailed up connections and paying for things that you're not using. And you're also getting the benefit of all of the capabilities that having an architecture, a virtualized architecture available to you that's flexible in terms of accommodating your applications and data transfer needs is huge. That last point about control is actually really a big one because the fear, and this kind of goes back to the security issue, is that giving up ownership means giving up control, meaning giving up the physical ownership on your premise means giving up control. And the reality is that just isn't true. In fact, you can arguably make the case that you're getting more control because you're getting better visibility into all of your corporate assets. Like I said, decreased spend and increased ROI. That's the benefit of moving the CapEx over to the OpEx side of things. And also in terms of right-sizing the IT organization and prioritizing things so that you do what you do best and you let the experts do what they do best, and you're not spending a lot of time on certain crisis management things that are better handled by somebody else. The increased security and reliability. This isn't just about virtual security, but it's also about the physical security. I had the pleasure of visiting a number of cloud hosting environments, especially a couple of really state-of-the-art ones. And I got to tell you that between the way they're constructed and all the biometrics and other means of validation that are used and authentication that are used to allow people in and out who shouldn't be, there was just a study that said, that came out from, I think it was Symantec yesterday, and Ponemon Institute, that said over 2/3 of data breaches are a result of human error and system error. Well, assuming that that's even close to being correct, the reality is that a cloud service provider minimizes those particular risks in a lot of ways. The expert resources and technology, the great thing is when you're dealing with the cloud, you can always have the most up-to-date antiviruses, capabilities, identity management, device management, as well as all of the applications that you have licenses for can be updated for your entire workforce, and is not something that you have to spend a lot of time on. And then, of course, the obvious one, which is 24/7, 365 around the world, anytime, anywhere, is gold.
Fantastic. Great job, Peter. Appreciate that. We say at CompTIA that the cloud is just the great equalizer. One of the true benefits of the cloud is that it levels the playing field for all size companies. The smallest customer who could never afford an enterprise package solution or manage it can now gain those capabilities through cloud services and working with a cloud provider. So thank you very much. We're going to now move on to just keying in on one key barrier concern that we talked about earlier in migrating to the cloud, and that's that the process can be possibly cumbersome or complicated, and data might be lost in the process. So I'm going to turn this over to Ryan to take us through the savvisdirect onboarding process.
Thanks, Nancy. All right, so savvisdirect offers 3 forms of what we call fast-forward onboarding. So depending on your comfort level, you can get to the cloud at your speed. There are self-service options that include do-it-yourself guides, knowledge base articles, user blogs. But we also have guided activation, which includes over-the-phone guidance at a time that you schedule. This is a chance for the account administrator to learn how to use the product and the associated dashboard. There's also time allotted for the setup assistance for the various products that you may purchase. The final option that we have for the fast-forward onboarding is the premium support. Inside of that premium support, we offer full user training for all of your end users, and we also have what we call do-it-for-me onboarding. Next slide, please. In the do-it-for-me onboarding, it's a simple 3-phase approach to getting you to the cloud. This process is customized for you. For every customer, this is a custom plan. We'll get some more detail into that in just a moment here. We would go ahead and progress the slide. In the first phase, phase 1, one of our onboarding specialists will contact you at a time that you would like. This is the start of our white glove treatment that, again, includes a project plan specific to you. We will help you determine your current mail solution if you don't know what it is. We will make sure that you are prepared by ensuring that all of the correct options that have been selected, options like additional mailboxes, active sync for mobile devices, BlackBerry integration, resource mailboxes for those conference rooms that we need to book for big meetings. We'll help you develop a plan for getting all of your data to our hosted Exchange environment. Okay, if we would go ahead and thank you. In phase 2, we will verify that your new Exchange environment is ready for you with all of the options that you wanted. We'll configure all of the mailboxes for you, access rights, distribution lists, everything associated with your new Exchange account. The onboarding specialist will then update the DNS, turning on a redirect to allow all of the mail to continue to flow into your local clients. Once the DNS changes have taken effect, we will begin the data migration. We migrate everything: messages, contacts, calendars, folders, even tasks. Once this has been completed, the specialist will verify that all of the data has migrated successfully. Again, we're going to do this on your time, in your time frame within the bounds of your setup. This is custom to each company that comes to savvisdirect. So once the data, in phase 3, once the data has been verified, we will actually create an auto-discover record for the new Exchange environment. The onboarding specialist will then remotely connect to your computers, if you'd like them to download, install, configure all of your new mail clients. Finally, we'll remove the redirect, migrate any data that was received after we verified that first migration. Everything will be there ready to go. And then there will also be time, again, if you have anything else that you would like to add to your portfolio, that we would be able to assist you in that onboarding. So you're going to the cloud. Why savvisdirect? We offer Fortune 50 enterprise technology no matter what size your company is. We have 54 data centers worldwide. You will have a global fiber IP network working for you. industry-leading SLAs with pay-as-you-go cloud solutions. You also have the comfort of knowing that this is all backed by CenturyLink and Savvis, names that have stood the test of time. At savvisdirect, we give you the tools to help you save, simplify, and get more done.
Okay, Michael, do you want to jump in here?
Absolutely. Thanks, Nancy. Well, let's talk about the technology specifically now. We're all familiar with, Exchange. Most of us are familiar with SharePoint, and some of us familiar with Link. So these all have on-premises versions, right? We could install these technologies on-premises, but what I'm going to talk about is the cloud versions of these technologies. So we hosted Exchange, hosted Link, and hosted SharePoint. These are multi-tenant versions of these offerings running in the Savvis data center. And we can, being from Microsoft, I can certainly talk about each individual service, and I will do so, but I really think you get that, most powerful experience. And what I mean by powerful, that streamlined productivity experience that we believe is the best experience for communication and collaboration out there if you get all three of these solutions working together. They complement each other and do create that entire productivity experience. So first, let me just describe each one, and then we'll go into how they kind of work together. So you have hosted Exchange, which has a very high uptime SLA. Obviously, it's very difficult if you do install an on-premises Exchange server to match a 99.999 uptime SLA. So there's a benefit right there of going with the cloud. With hosted Exchange, you get those great features of Microsoft's industry-leading messaging system, like Access Anywhere. We're all used to accessing our email through Outlook, right? Well, there's a different story there. You can also access from your mobile device, and whether it's an iPhone, Windows Phone, Android, or BlackBerry. There's a story there for getting your email on those mobile devices, and then in the browser, of course. If you're at a computer where you don't have Outlook installed, you can always use Outlook web app. Up-to-date virus protection, automatic software patching of Exchange. If you've ever managed an Exchange server on premises, you know that can be cumbersome. That's all done for you. And then there is hosted Link. So if you're not familiar with what Link is, and many of you might not be, Link is our IM chat and web conferencing solutions. So it is a chat solution for the business, and it runs in your on your taskbar, when you're logged into your operating system, and you can go ahead and initiate chats with your colleagues. You can initiate chats with people outside of your network, other companies, users from other companies that are on Link as well. So it really is a great, it becomes that third means of communication for you. Most of us are used to emailing people to communicate, picking up the phone and calling people. Well, now Link becomes that third method. I'm going to go ahead and chat with people. And being at Microsoft, being a Link user for at least the past 7 years, I used OCS prior to that. I'll tell you right now that I don't pick up the phone and call my colleagues. I do a Link chat, and we'll chat back and forth. And if we determine, hey, we should talk about this, then we'll convert that Link chat into a voice over IP phone call. So another cool feature of Link is, and this kind of speaks to some of the integration into Outlook, I can go ahead and be emailing someone back and forth and click on that email and quickly convert that email into a web conferencing invite. Link is also our web conferencing solution, and that means I can create a web conference. I can invite anyone I know. They could have never even heard of Link. I send them this conference invite. They download the Link attendee client or use the web client and join my web conference. So if you sign up for Link, a link package, you certainly, this would satisfy your web conferencing needs. And then moving along to SharePoint. SharePoint is our browser-based document management and collaboration solution, but much more. It could act as your corporate intranet. So your users, you direct them to one central website where you have all your company information stored on the corporate intranet. You could define, all the top navigation items. Maybe you want to, have a top navigation button for each department or a separate business process, or maybe you want to create a sub-site for all of your customers. You could easily build that out on SharePoint Online. You can also use it to manage all your documents. And the advantage of managing documents on SharePoint Online is you get these rich document management features. For example, you can be working on a document or a document library, and it's so important to you, you want to be notified every time that document changes. So you can set an alert where you will receive an email alert. So there's that integration back into your Exchange system or into your email to receive that email alert. You can also set versioning on a library. So you can, anytime a save occurs on a specific document that's really important to you, you can go back and pull, see the past 10 saves that have occurred. That often complements a disaster recovery plan very well, knowing that your users can self-service restore their own documents. So I always say with SharePoint, if you can imagine a current business pain point that you're experiencing with your IT systems, maybe you're emailing forms back and forth and they're just very difficult to manage. I always say, you know what, we could look at SharePoint and no doubt find a solution on SharePoint for your business pain point process. And in the example I just said, that would be like posting a web form onto SharePoint Online, and instead of having users email back and forth a form, you can just say, hey, go to SharePoint Online, or go to the SharePoint solution and fill out the web form, and everything is managed there. You can have your HR department go there and manage HR forms, finance forms, a fantastic solution. So that just gives you an idea of this entire Microsoft productivity experience, how hosted Exchange, hosted Link, and hosted SharePoint really work together, complement each other, and create that overall Microsoft productivity experience.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Michael and Ryan, for walking us through the savvisdirect onboarding process.